what would my contribution be? What will I do? Um, this age around 18 to 24 is really, it's the right age. So university is targeting students at that right age when they're typically thinking about this question, what will I do? Versus in the teenagers between roughly 13 to 18, you're thinking more of who am I, and I'm not like my parents, and that's why the teenagers can be a little bit rebellious. I need to define who I am, and my peer group is super important. I start and then you go to university, and really it's this idea of what will I do, what will my contribution be, and also finding like-minded people. Whereas before, your peer group was whoever was around you. Maybe you had a few choices, but in university, in a much bigger setting, you're typically now zooming in on this particular club or these particular people. Hopefully, if university is working for you, so there are some good things in working today in university. They tend not to be the things we go to, we think about. They're on the side, and we have to bring them into the core. So just a small example. Your sister called me once, like you said, that I purposefully downplayed the whole grade thing because school does a fantastic job of making it seem like it's so important. What grade did you get, and what's your rank, and who's better at this or that. And I knew what you were gonna face later on in life. I'd already been there, so I didn't want to add to that. So I purposefully downplayed this whole story. I'm not asking you, what grades did you get. And if you guys ever came and were like really excited about a certain grade, I'd be like, great, good for you. Your work got you something. So I'm trying to connect it back to you and not make a big deal about it, because anyway, you're gonna work is gonna do that for you once you get to work, and nobody cares, what grade you got, or that you got a certain exam at age 17, not at age 18, right? And certainly not the entrepreneurial world. Like, it's ruthless, right? So. She'd been in university for a few months, and we were in touch on WhatsApp and calls, and she calls me once and says, can I chat? Sends me a message, and so we get on a chat, and she says, I have this midterm to study for, and I was supposed to study yesterday, but I bumped into this other student who I had met during the Frosh week, partying and hadn't seen her, and then we kind of bumped into each other a few times, and then yesterday this other student decided, listen, I need to get to know you. Your story seems so interesting. You're Palestinian, German, blonde, but raised in Dubai, Middle Eastern, living in Canada. We need to talk. I want to understand you. I want to understand your story. And so she says, we spoke, and we ended up speaking. We had a coffee and ended up speaking all night, getting to know each other and having this fantastic conversation. I didn't study for the midterm. I said, this is why I sent you to university. It's for that, not for, don't worry about the midterm, but that's the experience that matters. So when we think about what university isn't doing, it will still, whatever shape and form, it takes, it is the right age group for that question. It's when typically students are asking themselves that question. It's the right time to mingle with big groups of people, maybe physically and also remotely. You should be connecting with like-minded people all around the world. And that's the bit where, we're starting to figure this stuff out. Everyone's figuring it out, except the universities themselves, or at least the ones that are still making the decisions. There might be certain professors, students, groups that are pushing new things, but under the current system, and there are many reasons we can talk about why things don't change. It hasn't moved yet as fast as the world has, and what students really are asking for and what they need.
Time you share that story about Faye, it reminds me of that time you had a speaker come to your nursery, and he shared the story. Correct me if I mess up any of the details, but he was in school. He was sharing about how when he was in school, his dad came up to him once and asked him to go camping, and he was like, "No, I can't. I can't miss school. I have X, Y, and Z. These academic responsibilities. I have an exam, whatever." And he goes, "Son, never let your never let school get in the way of your education." And I thought that was fantastic. Like such a cool
Exactly.
quote.
And that's Dr. Noah Rafford, and that's who is a Montessori student who was a father at our school. And he was in a Montessori school, a very progressive school. He's doing real project-based learning. And despite that, his dad feels like, two nights up in the mountains of Colorado, fishing and camping is as important, if not more important than, whatever he's doing between the
Yeah,
four walls of his school.
yeah, agreed.